Hi everybody, this is Caroline Sotheby and welcome to, excuse me, Up, Down, and Around Town. Last week, of course, I mentioned you have to watch a show, and of course, hey, here's another one. If you want to learn a lot about the fire department and all of the things that goes on with them and information, here's our chief. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
I know at one time you were so busy. I had seen you at the library when you had your presentation there.
Yep. Yeah, we've been working more on our community risk reduction plan, which is trying to mitigate problems before they happen. A lot of times in public sector service safety, we respond when after something's already bad has happened. So we're trying to work on trying to mitigate and those emergencies before they happen. So trying to get out into the community, and we did a senior safety presentation at the library. I've done them at, I did one at Bishop Co-op and at Biddle House, also the same presentation, basically to kind of give people some tools and some information to keep themselves safe, and like what our services are and what we can offer and what we do, and in hopes that we kind of mitigate these problems before they actually happen. We're reactive for the most part in fire and police. You know, when an emergency happens, we respond. I think we want to transition into more of a, hey, let's make sure these emergencies don't happen. So that's the kind of goal from the fire department side, is to work on our community risk reduction plan.
Okay, so you did bring something with you because you've been reminding people.
Yep.
We saw it on channel, was it 15 or 16? And that's when I called you back and I said, hey, you want to come on and talk about it? Because that was something that you referred to at the library once. So that's
correct.
Okay.
Yep. So what in conjunction with the Senior Alliance, the TSA, Wayne County received a grant, and the grant was for these, they call them My ID bracelets. So if I've brought one here, everyone it's kind of hard to see. So basically what this is a bracelet that you would put on. You would leave it on at all times. It's a rubber bracelet. It has a metal band on it. On the back side of it is a QR code that you can scan. Like when we come to a medical emergency, we would see it. We could scan it with our tablets or our phones. It would give us all of your information, your phone number, your name, your date of birth, any medications that you may have be on, and any emergency contact information, your doctor. All of that information would then pop up, and we'd be able to, if we weren't able to communicate that to you, or you couldn't communicate that to us, we would be able to put that in our report, make sure the hospital knows, and or if you had fallen, we could contact your family or whoever you have as your emergency contact. So these bracelets were purchased by the Senior Alliance, and they were gifted to the city of Wyandotte, and the mayor's office reached out to us, asked us to try and distribute some of these. So that was our kind of our goal. We tied in that senior safety presentation in with dispersing some of these bracelets. From the mayor's office, we got 50 of them to disperse, and the only requirements for us giving these out are you have to be a Wyandotte resident and you have to be 60 years of age. So other than that, there's zero requirements. I think it's a pretty neat system. I have played around trying to set one up. It's not very hard, but I know that a lot of people have family members, or it's the process of getting all of your information in there is, I think, sounds more daunting than it is. So it's as simple as you would take whatever phone you had, you would scan that QR code, and it would take you right to that site, and you would start typing in your information. And once that's set, whenever we go out and scan it, you would be able to we'd be able to get all that information that you inputted in there.
It's not like going into the room and finding that little thing that's supposed to be on your refrigerator
Yeah, so
door?
for years we've done the, on the back of the door. A lot of people did the file of life, which was on your refrigerator. Those are great. There's nothing wrong with those. If you're not at home, we don't have those cards. So if you're
Right.
out shopping, you're at a restaurant, we have a hard time. We might not be
Yeah.
able to have that information. So I think it's a really neat tool. I think we're going to try and utilize it and distribute it through the city and see how they work.
Okay. So what's the best way to get it now? I mean,
So we at the fire department are in the process of distributing them. We have down at our main fire station, which is located by the Yak Arena at 266 Maple. That's where we have the bracelets. You can come in anytime, Monday through Friday, throughout the day, and we would be able to kind of hand you one, show you the instructions. There are 2 questions that we ask, and that's for data keeping for the Senior Alliance program for the grant process. They're really not in-depth questions, and you can refuse to answer them. It basically is income and then your race. Those are the 2 questions, and that's it. So
Okay.
you don't have to leave any. We don't need ID. We don't need any money. It's just 2 questions. We hand you the information, show you the bracelet, and kind of let you
Work from there.
guys try it out, see how
Yeah.
it works.
well, one good thing about it, if somebody is out on the street on their own and something happens, you got your ID. That all you have to do is check, and you have the phone number of the relative that's responsible for. They're
Yeah.
where you're taking them,
Yeah.
and you're on step one. Otherwise, if you have no idea who that person is, how do you take care of the patient without knowing?
Well, at the time, whenever we go on calls, a lot of times we don't have personal information. We don't have medical information or what medications
Yeah.
are. So at that point, we just start to treat the patient and
Okay.
anything that's going on with the patient. It's kind of like working on the car. If it's not running right, we try and address those issues, right? So, the name and the information and the contact, that is great because we can let someone know, your loved ones or your emergency contact. It doesn't stop us from treating you, though, not knowing that
Okay.
information. The more information we get, the better, though, too, because then we
Yeah.
can see what kind of conditions you have. If you have any prior medical history, are you a diabetic? Do you have a cardiac history? So it does, knowing that information that we would be able to utilize that bracelet for could help us with getting that treatment a little faster, a little better, a little more
Right.
accurate, narrowing it down to what we need to treat.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great product.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm not selling it. We're not like
Right.
anything like that. It's new. I think we've handed out in the city of Wyandotte approximately 20 bracelets. So it's not even a lot that we've handed out yet. So we're going to keep an eye on and see if it works and how it's working, and let our staff know that if they see these, to utilize them. So.
Okay. Do you keep in touch with Alliance a lot?
That is one of the first times that I've actually ever kind
Really?
of interacted with them. Super impressed. Then they brought a couple people to the library to help out with the presentation after I did mine. They did a presentation. I was super amazed at all of the programs and that they offer for the seniors that I didn't know existed. And I work here. I've been I've been in the fire department for 23 years. And I didn't know some of the services that they offer. You can, they went so far as to say, hey, if you can set up where you get phone calls daily or weekly, and they would just call and, hey, how are you doing today? How you feeling? And checking in. So there's a lot of things out there that without finding them out, no one really knows because you can't
Right.
utilize them then. So
Right.
I was really impressed by it.
Okay. Do we still have our phone calls in the city of Wyandotte? Because I know they used to do that at Copeland Center. They had somebody always get a list of calls and, hey, are you okay today? No, but I haven't been in contact with them for about 5 years.
We don't currently do that anymore. I'm not sure if that's another another program they offer through the city. It might be, but ourselves from the fire department, we don't do that.
Oh, heck, you got too much doing. I'd be, I mean, it sounds crazy. I mean, you have to take care of the place, and you have to take care of your fire engines and everything else. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's besides all the calls
Well,
that are coming in and taking you out of the place.
yeah. No, there's a lot to do. I mean, we we have 2 fire stations. So I equate being a fire chief to having like 2 more houses. That I have to take care of, 12 more vehicles, and a bunch more family members. So that you're
Okay.
worried about and you take care of. So, and then you represent the community and make sure that we're trying to take care of the citizens of the community too. So
Right.
it's there's a lot to it, but it's the first year. My first year's been going pretty good. So
Okay. All
knock
right.
on wood.
Well, you had background, all that information and insight of what's going on. You said though that you're still a little short of personnel, and it's kind of rough trying to get people to come in.
Yeah, I think I don't know what to equate it to. I think when I started a little over 23 years ago, there, like I had told you, there was not many jobs, but there was a lot of people that were vying to get these jobs in fire service. It's completely flipped now. There's a ton of jobs and not many people wanting to fill those jobs. Could be generational, whether the kids are more into technology or doing something else. The fire service is a trade. It's a blue collar work. So I don't know if less people are going into that, but we're doing our best to try and get ahead of it. Getting into the schools, trying to talk to the kids when they're younger about the opportunities that the fire service offers. So I feel like we're doing a good job, but we are still a little short.
So now what happens? Say if you might have a kid interested and say, "Hey, I might look into it." What courses do they have to basically take?
So to become a firefighter, well, for the city of Wyandotte, you need your Fire 1 and 2, state certified Fire 1 and 2, and you need to be a national registry paramedic. So basically, what all of that schooling would entail approximately close to 3 years, and all the schooling's done at community college level. You can take Fire Academy, which is a little faster, or you can just take a Fire 1 and 2 class, which is in the evening, like a regular college semester class. And then you would take your basic EMT class, and then after that, you would take the paramedic portion. The paramedic portion is the longest and the hardest portion. It's approximately a year and a half to 2 years.
Okay.
So to become a paramedic. So that's it's the most difficult part of it, but it is one of the biggest parts that we of our job. I would say it's probably 80% of what we do is EMS calls in the city of Wyandotte. Most of your suburban fire departments, especially downriver, you have to be a paramedic before they'll hire you. I mean, we are working with grants through the state where we can hire basic EMTs and send them to the paramedic class.
We can.
So there are some cities that do offer that program, and it's been working a little bit. So we're getting better than we were.
Okay.
And I think us, kind of becoming creative to try and fill these positions, it's been different, but it's working. So we're not as low as we used to be. Right around COVID and pre-COVID, we were really, really low on staffing. Now we're fighting our way back, and we're getting there. But
All right.
the amount of people coming into this line of work just doesn't fill the needs. So.
Oh, or they don't think it does. Well, you know what though? It takes a special person because you're putting a lot of effort and attention to the community, to their problems. What happens if you had a big fire? You have to work fast and know exactly what everybody is in tune to. So it's not like.
No, it's not easy. I mean, it's I love it. I think it's a great job. I would advocate for this job 100%. really to anyone. I think
Okay.
it is hard, but it's really rewarding work to me. Like
Okay.
you do have to have some empathy, some compassion, and if you're not a team working a good, if you want to work alone, it's really not probably the career to get into. And I tell the kids that when I go to the high schools, there are some factors of our job that not the not everyone in the public would like, or wouldn't be, and that's beside being afraid of heights or fire, the common, misconception ones. Those are obviously would be red flags, but there's others. I mean, a lot of people don't like seeing people injured or hurt, or
Right.
or
Right.
like because you do deal with a lot of heavy topics, and so mentally it can become a lot. So I think that in the fire service we're working on becoming a little more compassionate, not only to the citizens but each other. It used to be this rough, macho, never show weakness, never talk about things, and now we're realizing our mental health is something we need to focus on. So that's a big push in our industry in the fire service is mental health of our
Yeah.
workers, and because you do see a lot of negative things, a lot of bad things that stick with you and they just don't go away. So we make sure that we talk about those things, and we have resources for our staff if they do have a tough call or they see something that
Yeah.
might bother them. We make sure we're in contact with them, and we have peer support services for them. So those are things that we work on.
Well, yeah, because you have to take care of yourself. If you're not positive and feel good about
Oh,
you,
100%.
you can't
Yeah, no,
help somebody else.
I agree with you there. So,
I know I had, maybe 3, 4 years ago, I had talked to the girls that get the phones. And I said, how do you take like one day at a time? Do you think of maybe that call that came in, and you often wonder, how did that end result turn out?
sure.
Because you refer them to this and this and this and this. And she says, yeah, there are days, and it's probably like a cop. It's on the same order you guys. I mean, you don't always just get a drunk driver held over. You're seeing a lot of different things, and you're seeing a lot of blood and everything else.
Sure.
So it would affect you at a day when you've had a rough day,
Yeah.
and you go home and you're trying to relax, and you got your family situations facing you at that time too.
Yeah. It's tough to, try and leave work at work sometimes, and but that's it's something you need to work on. And it's okay. A lot of like I don't think a lot of us in that line of work go home and, just basically spill everything that we witnessed or we seen, and
Yeah.
so those are things we carry, and I think a lot of it that's why our coworkers are who we probably release
Yeah.
to a lot more than our families sometimes. So, and it's probably a little like a coping mechanism, and like to shelter. Like I don't want to burden people with that either. So, it's part of the job,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those things that we need to be more cognizant of, and I think we are. I think we're doing a good job with it. It's definitely
Okay.
something that we are aware of, and we are working towards being better at. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. We got to compliment all you guys there. We really do. Um, it was before I came in, I went and took some pictures of the little spot across from the fire department where the
Oh, the new
Rotary,
park.
yeah.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
I thought
Oh.
that's pretty sharp. Maybe Joe can put on if he can find it. It looks, well, this is one part where Andy
It's really
has been
cool.
doing things with the kids, and instead of painting on paper, which was flying away, this past week he had rocks, and that's a big enough area there for the Sunday social.
Yep. No,
And,
it's awesome. Like there's the park. That's
and
awesome.
yeah.
No, we're super excited about it. The previous chief, Tom Lyon, we'd sit in the office and look down at the park, and we knew it was falling apart, and he's like, we need to do something with that. And then with Rotary Club, Kaylin Crane, Joe Gruber, they got with us, and then Cheryl from our rec department. They've done an amazing job. So we're super. It's awesome.
So
I
the
don't know
kids-
if you haven't seen it, but it's actually been super busy. Like the amount of kids that are going through there,
That's good.
and it's really cool to see.
I said all they
So,
need is a hose and water.
Yeah, I think our goal in July is we're gonna have like a kind of like an open house ribbon cutting. So keep your ears peeled.
Okay.
It will be towards the end of July with the Rotary Club, and the fire department will be there, and I think they're gonna do a official opening of the park, even though it's open now. But
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that park kind of get refurbished.
Yeah.
And then have the fire truck theme and the firefighter theme. So it's they've got the Wyandotte stickers on it and everything. So it's pretty neat. It's good
Yeah.
to see.
It takes a lot of people to get a lot of things done. So it worked out in this case too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know they did a lot of fundraising for it. So it's just really it's cool. It's cool to see. My office looks right over it. So
Oh, it does? Yeah.
my computer's there, and then I see the park. So I see how many kids go there and how many families are there. A few, like if I see a bunch of them, I had our crew went over there and gave out stickers and helmets.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah. Beautiful.
kids loved it, so it was good.
Yeah. Get the attention. Hey, we have a fire department here, and
No, yeah, we're all about that. So
that's great.
yeah.
So you're going to have to let us know end of July
Yeah, I think they
sometime?
should be promoting that soon.
Okay.
I think I know the date. I don't want to like say for
Okay.
sure, but I know
All
it's
right.
towards the end of July. So in case it kind of moves or whatever, but I think we'll have like an open house at the fire station and like kind of kids at the park. So I think it'll be a fun day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So meanwhile,
Yes.
what kind of advice can you give the people at that end that was July 4th coming up and the good old holiday?
Yeah, the fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, my original message, I'm gonna stand by it all the time, is leave it to the professionals, right? So, they're just accidents happen. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
They're explosives. They are legal in the state of Michigan, so by law, people are able to purchase them and set them off. There's certain standards, obviously. I would be like if the law is followed to a T, you'd have a hard time finding an area in Wyandotte you really legitimately could
True.
set them off because
Yeah.
you are supposed to have it on your property and it's supposed to land on your property when it comes down. That'd be really hard to do in Wyandotte. We're not out policing it, but we want people to be safe.
Yeah.
We hate to see accidents, and so those are things that we want to make sure people understand that, sometimes those kind of things are better left to the professionals. But if you are going to use them, make sure there's a supervision, adult supervision. You have capabilities of water on hand, and if you are lighting them off, just please be careful.
Yeah.
So, and if you need us, call us 911.
911.
We're only a phone call away. So, yeah.
Okay, what would you do in the case where you were called and the fireworks are exploding like crazy? What do you do first for it?
What would we do, or what I tell you guys to do as the public?
Well, I don't know. What comes
Well,
first?
as the public, I would say let us handle it.
Yeah.
Because with fire extinguishers or anything like that, to try and put it out, you need to get close. Obviously, with fireworks,
You don't know how far it's
you
going
don't
to go.
know they're explosive. So
Yeah.
whether they're shooting off or moving, so those are things that I would say cover, protect yourself, make sure you're out of harm's way,
Okay.
as opposed to try and mitigate that emergency. Call 911, get us going, because we want to make sure we get there pretty early. So
Yeah.
call us, make sure you stay safe. Don't try and handle it just like I tell people with in their house, like if they have like a kitchen fire or something like that, like make sure we get called.
Yeah.
You trying to put it out could put yourself in a dangerous spot, and we have a lot more tools and capabilities. So
And not too many of us know how to use a fire extinguisher. That was one thing. I
Yeah.
mean, he said, okay, do this and this. Yeah, but how do you open up that thing?
yeah,
Not
a lot
too
of
many
people have
know.
them. A lot. Do you know how to you use them, right?
Yeah.
So
It's hanging up on the wall.
yeah, everyone has
and,
one. So
Yeah.
They're not hard to use, you know, but if you've never used one, then how would you know?
Yeah.
There's tons of great information on the internet, short videos, you know,
Okay.
how to use them. If anyone has questions, we do have pamphlets and stuff like that. We can make available to everyone. It's you know, when you're utilizing them, it depends on what kind of fire, things like that. Like if you have a fire extinguisher and you have a grease fire, you don't want to necessarily use it on that. So those are there's so many variables. That's why I love fire extinguishers, but they're also, you know, one of those things is like, oh, I don't want people to like think they can handle a huge fire just because they have that.
Right.
So, you know, there's acronyms. You know, it's called PASS. You pull the pin, you aim it, PA, aim it, squeeze the trigger, and then you sweep back and forth. So PASS, pass. So you
Okay.
pull that pin, you aim it to where you want to go, which is at the seat of the fire, not the flames, where the seat of
Okay.
the fire is. Then you squeeze the trigger, and then you sweep back and forth.
Okay.
So that's kind of like anything information you'll read about it or videos, they'll probably use that acronym, the PASS.
But you almost have to do it in order to really.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You
So
gotta.
hope you don't have to.
I'm sure when you're sitting there and if something's on fire, you're gonna think about that. Oh, what was that acronym? PASS. Yeah. So it's tough. I mean, it's educational, obviously,
Yeah.
and informative to be able to use it. But I guess in an emergency situation, if you got a quick thinking brain, maybe. But
Okay.
I would assume
you have to
most
think
people
fast.
just kind of like might panic, you know, and make things worse. So as long as you know, number one thing is get us going and then make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
So that's what we like to tell everyone.
Okay.
So
So hey, I thank you for coming. Whenever you have a chance and you got some more information,
All
just
right.
feel free.
no, I appreciate it. This is a great opportunity. I think we were last time I was here was with last like a year and a half ago with the previous chief. So this is great. No, we love the opportunity, and you know, if everyone wants to
Get those.
swing by the fire station, pick up one of these bracelets, I think the mayor and the fire department, we'd all be happy to make
Okay.
sure you get
Yeah.
one and get set up.
Yeah.
All right.
Right direction. So okay.
Perfect.
Thanks. Have
Thank
a
you.
nice 4th.
I will.
Safe,
You too.
stay
Happy
safe.
Happy 4th of July. Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Okay.